You okay?
Yeah. I hit my head. I had to go turn down the air and I hit my head right over Dale. And Fisher is also gone.
Fisher left alone.
For day 3 of things.
13
days
of horror.
Horror. Yeah. Welcome to day 3.
Welcome to day 3.
The 13 days of horror. You just repeating everything I'm saying. And today we were reviewing Annabelle, the prequel to The Conjuring. Now, if you guys didn't know, we've done a review of The Conjuring before, so check out...
It's in the description.
Yeah. This is the prequel, Annabelle, to The Conjuring. So, Annabelle was a pretty big, yeah, the way I said
The way you said that sounded weird.
The prequel, Annabelle, to The Conjuring. If you guys have seen The Conjuring, I mean, if you should probably watch The Conjuring before you watch this, I would imagine. Or you could watch this and then The Conjuring, and it still makes sense because it's a prequel. But
either way, it would make
Annabelle
sense.
was a pretty big character in The Conjuring, pretty big presence at least. And she was more so a peripheral thing. This one, Annabelle, is for the most part front and center.
Well, it is about her.
Yes, so. It is about her. So, pretty much it follows this young couple. They're having a baby together, and it's kind of at this, around the Charles Manson time of people breaking into houses. And it's, you know, there was a moment in it that I thought was pretty funny about the wife asking the husband if he locked the door when he came home.
Well, back then it wasn't
no.
It wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
Like, it never was really a huge issue till probably, I don't know when that, like, really peaked. Probably at the Charles Manson time, with all the things that might have been happening around that time. But generally it was like 50s, no one was locking the doors because, I mean...
50s, 60s, yeah.
Yeah, nobody was, like, worried that someone was going to break the fuck in and steal their shit.
It's also, like, when hitchhiking was a common thing.
Yeah,
like you know,
it's never been an issue because nobody was ever doing anything that bad, like, or they didn't talk about it.
You know, I thought that was a quaint thing. I just thought that was...
It showed it for its time at that point.
Yeah, it's like, you locked the door? No. Well, you should, because things are happening. And something does happen. The husband gets his wife this Annabelle doll. Apparently it's a rare collectible doll. Just a doll that she has part of her collection.
Porcelain doll.
Yeah. And
although I will say the real Annabelle is not a porcelain doll.
Yeah, it's a Raggedy Ann doll.
It's Raggedy Ann.
There's a break-in at their neighbor's house where they're brutally murdered, and then they essentially come into their house as well. And the two people are killed, and the lady holding Annabelle, I guess her name is Annabelle.
The lady's name is Annabelle.
The lady, Annabelle, she kills herself. And then
she slit her neck, and the blood dripped into the eye of the doll.
The eye of the doll, and essentially she kind of takes possession of it almost. Some more weird shit happens in the house regarding the Annabelle doll, and they end up moving. She feels like the house is haunted, and also they get rid of the Annabelle doll because she doesn't. Yeah, think they get rid of it. So because she doesn't want to be near it, so they move, get rid of the doll. Oh, new life in an apartment, everything will be fine. Oh wait, no, the Annabelle doll has somehow made it back into our house.
But see, the thing is when she finds it, it's not this, oh my god, get it the fuck out of my house. It's, no, it's fine, and she places it back on the fucking thing.
She was trying to move on from what had happened. Like, because it had been a longer period past that.
I don't know, I feel like just the way she looked at it looked very hypnotic of just whatever, you know, or it was like saying something to her.
And then, you know, things, again, weird
things start picking up, weird shit starts happening. It does go, this is where the insidious shit starts of, I mean, most people at this point I think have seen it. It's like the, what'd you call him?
Oh yeah, there was this big burly guy. I called him Tonto. He was the guy he's the guy who guards the door to the Nether.
And he walks once, twice, and then he's in front of the window. And it kind of did the same thing with this Annabelle movie, which was the lady walked from one room, and then all of a sudden she was in front of the baby.
Yeah.
And it was just a random thing, and that freaked me the fuck out. I was like, oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
Get out now.
Yeah.
You didn't like the other part, which is also in the trailer, where the girl runs.
Yeah,
You didn't like that at all.
Where there's the little girl and she runs towards the door, and the door starts to close, and then it
turns into the big Annabelle, the older Annabelle.
Yeah.
For some reason, you thought that was a little weird.
No, it was
creeped you out a little bit.
See, that's what I really liked about The Conjuring and Insidious, and this is like, I feel like, to me, the scares are inventive. Like, it's not just the same old jump scare every single time.
But you were getting really annoyed, or like, you thought it was slow in the beginning with the...
Yeah, I wasn't really getting annoyed. I just felt like it was repeatedly going from her on sewing to something happening, to then again, her sewing and something happening. And, I mean, then again, she was put on bed rest and stuff like that, but it was just like... It was really redundant early on for maybe the first 40 minutes, and then it picked up. It picked up big time.
Oh, it picked up a...
It picked up big time when it took a different turn to something I wasn't expecting. Not even like it was. It was more so Insidious-like than The Conjuring. So I felt like this one was more so linked, although it was directly linked to The Conjuring. It had elements of Insidious in there that were very prevalent.
There were a lot of parts in there.
Yeah, and that
I was just.
I
knew what was gonna happen. I was like, I
really wasn't expecting it to go the way it was. I thought it was just going to be
the doll.
The doll, and there was more to it than just the doll.
And what really, and then you said it, and the guy we watch, the reviewer guy, you both pretty much have said the same thing, and I completely agree. Is they didn't go Chucky with it. The doll didn't move.
Yeah.
Her head's never turned.
Her head never turned.
It turns in Conjuring, but it doesn't turn in this one. She doesn't move her arms. She doesn't move her legs. Nothing happens to her at all other than she's placed in a different area. And how did she get there? Like, something placed her there.
Yeah.
But they never made... Like, they just would always hold a shot on her face.
Yeah.
And I was always expecting a blink or something weird to happen, but that's typical of doll movies, is something happens to them.
There wasn't anything, like, really that I would mark it against, outside of being slow in the beginning.
Pacing seemed fine to me, but it's just different taste.
Yeah. Well, usually I can deal with slow pacing. It's just repetitiveness. I felt like it was repetitive early on. That was the only thing that made it.
I just thought something bigger was going to happen every time they kept doing that. Yeah. Because the music was getting louder and the sounds were getting louder, and I'm like, okay, you're building to something. Please, something happen. Yeah.
But no, I thought it was up there with, like, Conjuring and Insidious. I don't know if I would say it's better than those, but at the same time, there were some elements that I really liked about it that I thought were not necessarily better than those things, but on par with. Like, I thought it, for not being directed by James Wan, he directed Insidious, Insidious 2, and The Conjuring. This was directed by, I think, the director of photography for The Conjuring. Or the guy who's done a fair bit of James Wan's cinematography in his movies. Mm-hmm. So, I wasn't sure about it, but it looked like, you know, in the same style of Insidious and The Conjuring, and there was similar music to The Conjuring and stuff like that. And I thought it was really well done, and I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised. I was happy that it was better than I thought it might have been. Mm-hmm. There was something in there towards the end that you and I both made me and you very uncomfortable.
Oh God, don't talk about that again, please.
Very uncomfortable.
They did a very good twist to this entire, like, back end of the movie, because it seemed to make a lot of people in the theater. I mean, there weren't that many people in there, but it made everybody just go.
There was an audible reaction.
And we just all kind of, like, you're sitting there going, she did not just do that.
I was very not okay with what had happened. No. And yeah, it was really uncomfortable.
Thinking about it is making me uncomfortable.
Because we've talked about this before. So, I mean, if you guys have seen, like, we've talked about what makes us uncomfortable, and I went into...
Have you actually specifically talked about that?
I went in depth a little bit about what makes me uncomfortable in movies. And so if you've seen that in previous Liz and Dan's reviews, or if you've seen Annabelle, you know what I'm talking about then. There is something in there regarding...
Don't spoil it in the comment section, by the way.
Well, yeah.
I mean, personally, I don't want.
Or just don't look at the comment section just in case.
Yeah, just in case.
But yeah, there's something in there that's really just put me off, and I was just like, oh no, like I was
they
not
did not
behind it at
go
all.
down that route.
I was not behind it at all, but it, yeah, it redeemed itself, but.
Well, yeah, but you're still sitting there going like.
It was much better once I was like, okay, that's okay, but I don't.
All right.
Anyway. So, yeah, there was something in there that was really effectively done, but at the same time, the idea of it just happening, I was like, no, I don't like that. I'm not okay with that. So, yeah. But, I mean, a good horror movie should do that, or a good, movie
A horror movie should make you feel a ton of different feelings in one
Yeah.
set. Like, one set of the movie, like, you should feel completely calm. And then something happens. You're either terrified, petrified, or, crying because of whatever you saw. And honestly, the best ones to me are the ones that make you uncomfortable, and they sit in your brain for a while, and you're going, why? Why did that just happen?
Yeah.
Why did you go down that route?
There's only been a couple movies. We've talked about it, like, Requiem for a Dream, for me, left me uncomfortable throughout the entire movie.
You never finished it until you watched it with me.
Yeah, I know.
So, I remember that.
But, and then, you haven't seen this, but I still want to watch it with you. Brothers, with Jake Gyllenhaal and Tobey Maguire. That movie has...
I've been curious to, watch it myself. It
is so tense. The tension builds throughout the entire movie. And, it's just, at one point you just, oh, for the love of God, just, this is getting horrible. So, I mean...
no. I'm thinking
there's only been a couple times where something like that has happened for me.
Something else.
So, Annabelle. Overall, what did you think?
I thought it was good. I mean, I honestly am glad with the fact that it wasn't just based off the doll. Yeah. There was something bigger to it. There was a bigger story than just
other elements.
The doll. Which I really liked, because I honestly going in, I was like, okay, this is about a doll. How long can this movie really be?
Yeah, The Conjuring had Annabelle on top of 4 or 5 other ghosts. There were other things.
Oh, there was a shit ton of other shit going on in
there's a lot of other things going in The Conjuring.
But, I mean, the doll was, and the doll's still there in Lorraine and Ed Warren's thing. I was really sad that they didn't show up. Dan said they shouldn't have showed up, but
they made mention to them, and but yeah, Liz was hoping they would show up, but the first instance of them encountering the Annabelle story was at the beginning of The Conjuring, which was also at the beginning of this movie.
Yeah.
And so it wouldn't have made sense if they had came in contact earlier than that anyway. It would have been nice. Well, you only had Ed's voice, and that was it, which was Patrick Wilson saying, something. Which was a dub. It wasn't a line from the first movie. No. So obviously they brought him in and just stuck him in front of a microphone and say this line. Yeah. No, I really want to see more, because, they should be doing another Conjuring film at some point. I know they're doing Insidious 3 now.
What do you mean, Conjuring 2? Conjure Harder? What the hell are you going to do more Conjuring shit? I thought
they did a bunch of cases.
Well, I know, but not for the Conjurings thing. It would be for Amityville and stuff, like you were saying.
Yeah, but I'm just saying more stuff with Ed and Lorraine.
And Lorraine Warren. I know they've done a ton of cases. We've seen them, but it's just...
That's what I'm saying. It's
okay, I was going to say, no Conjuring.
Well, there's no title for it, so I don't know what it would be. If they would be doing Amityville or something like that.
That would be interesting.
But, yeah, no, I definitely...
The story for that is
it makes me want... It makes me want... Because I really love Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. They're both really great actors, so... And that's one of the reasons why I like Insidious so much, is because I really like Patrick Wilson. And so he's kind of the presence that keeps me there. But, outside of them being really good movies by themselves, but... In this one, it felt like there weren't really... Outside of the lady, the bookstore lady, what's her name? Alfre Woodard. She was the only actress I really knew in that movie, outside of, the priest, who was in an episode of Dexter. So there weren't too many familiar faces in the movie. I
don't know, the priest scene was pretty good.
Yeah. That
one really hit home for me for some reason. It just, the whole way it was shot and that loud boom was just that moment of oh fuck.
Yeah.
You're dealing with something way more than you need to. But overall, it's definitely a movie to go see. I'd see it again, or buy it at least.
Oh yeah, definitely buy it.
But
yeah. So that's day 3 of 13 Days of Horror with Liz and Dan's reviews. We're filming them all on the same day.
We're in the same shit in every video.
I survived the Mayan apocalypse, Liz.
So did I. It's on my birthday. Or close to.
Close to. Anyway, thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow on day 4.